Hello everyone and welcome to another video from the Pro Traders Lounge. My name is Younes and I will be giving you an update on the Elliott Wave count that I have been tracking. It's been a while since my last update, so let's take a look what I was aiming for last time and what happened and what I'm expecting next for the coming weeks ahead. So let's jump straight into that. Let me just go. Alright, so last time we were, the last update I gave, the count, it still remains the same, so I can go over this really quickly. We're looking for this A, B, C to the downside as a zigzag for wave W. Next up, we were looking for the A, B, C to the upside for an expanding flat scenario for wave X. And we were expecting some kind of a retracement for another 3-wave to the downside for ABC. It looks something like this. The last date was right here when we were nearing that trend line. Is also the key level that I was looking for a potential move to the downside as some kind of a sign of weakness. If we started to lose the trend line of wave 2 and wave 4, it usually means that the trend has changed and we could see some kind of a correction. So what happened in the end? Yeah, we were expecting a big move to the downside. This is also what we traded. I shared this with our members on the Sunday swinger session back then, just to show you that we were prepared for that big move to the downside. We're looking for some kind of an ending diagonal type of move, which played out pretty nicely, which gave us the confluence to take the short at the last swing failure of the highs here that happened. And then we were looking for that 20,500 as our main target because we knew that was going to be a big support area. Obviously we did move a little bit lower at the end, but yeah, we hit our nice take profits. That's why we take profit to secure some of the profits, of course, because if we do V-shape, which happened in the end, then we do have some profits, of course. So what am I expecting next here? Let's go over the daily here. So yeah, this is where we ended our last time. So we saw a big move to the downside. You see everybody get really bearish here. What happens? You see a lot of shorts going into that. Yeah, it makes it a lot more easy to just squeeze them out then, and then leave everybody behind. That's just the way the market works. Unfortunately, they don't want to see people win. They want to see people lose. And yeah, you just have to counter that a little bit. Even though we came towards the lows here, you would really need to see some kind of a continuation there. You don't really want to see it stop and then just start to reclaim that level again, and then it starts squeezing. It's pretty simple. Yeah. But next up for the count, it made it a little bit more difficult because I needed to see a little bit more data here as to some kind of what's the next start of something of the count here. But what can we say here on the chart is very simple. We have ended something here. That's what we are clear of. We have some kind of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that ended something. So we could label it in our head. Okay, this is something has ended here. Okay. And then next up we have a correction. Very sharp correction here. So we know, okay, this is probably related to this one. And then another impulse to the upsides, and then another correction, and then another impulse. So what can we label this as? Potentially just a full impulse, to be honest. Just a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Why does this also look very nice? Because you have that nice alternation between wave 2 and wave 4 here. Very sharp wave 2. You expect a very sharp sideways wave 4, which also happened here. So this is why I do like this scenario. So not much has changed then actually, but this was just all part of wave 1. Because we have an extension here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just in wave 1, just wave 3, and then we are potentially now in wave 5. Does that mean that I'm now completely bearish? Somebody could say like, okay, you have a complete impulse here, just from that A, B, C to the upside. Does it mean that I'm not completely bearish? Not really. Before I would become very bearish or see the likelihood of a bearish scenario play out, you will need to lose some key levels. So for me, the first key level is going to be right here when you come back below the high of wave 3. Imagine this happens, maybe a retest. Yeah, that's a sign of weakness, you would say. And then you could trade it to the next key level. 25k is going to be big for me as well. Lose that, and then it becomes, in my opinion, very likely that we're going to see bigger move to the downside. Anything above 25k, I could still see a nice bounce and then continuation. But if we start to lose 25k here, really see the momentum shift here, yeah, it's going to be somewhat of a bearish move in my opinion. And then maybe we can talk about the lows here again, 15k, or even lower, like 10k maybe. Yeah, that's far ahead, but you just have to be prepared for those moves. It can happen. You can't say it can't happen because you're gonna be surprised if it does happen. For me, I won't be surprised because I know there's a chance that it always can happen. So for me, also the invalidation here is gonna be very simple. So yeah, that's a sign of weakness if we do get that. But if we do still see a push to the upside, let's say this still continues above here, I would say my count would be invalidated. I will have an invalidation right here above that last liquidity. So maybe we still see a push higher, take some liquidity, and we move down. That's always possible. Then it's not invalidated, but only if we start to reclaim above that. So we see a push above it, find some candles above it, and then continuation to the upside. That would be a clear invalidation that it doesn't really look that bearish, and I would expect more upside really. So I am a little bit more patient here. We're gonna take a look at the local count here. Let's see what we can expect here. Does it mean that the push, like the impulse 1, 2, 3, 5 has ended here? Maybe this can still become some kind of a complex top pattern here, some kind of like an ending diagonal. It's always possible. Difficult to predict, but yeah, saying that the top is in is just very unlikely where it is. You could say it is in, and you also have a very clear invalidation already. Let's say maybe you're tracking this to be some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're saying, okay, that was the last impulse. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So you say, okay, this was the last impulse to the upside of that wave 5. It is possible. Then your invalidation would be already right here, and you do not want to see price coming back above that. That is one way you could track this. In my opinion, it is correct. Does it seem likely where it is right now? Not yet, really. You could say maybe this is wave 1, correction wave 2. We are going to see some continuation here. You need to see this break with some kind of conviction. This low here, you need to see some continuation there. If it happens, then maybe it is possible, but it doesn't seem that very likely where it is right now. I mean, at least not yet. The other option, I would say, maybe this one is taking a little bit longer here, and we do see some kind of maybe ending type of move, ending diagonal here. Difficult, like I said, to predict, but let's say gonna be not really that clean yet. We don't really have much to go off right here. Maybe you say like this is 1, 2 coming, and we still see some kind of a complex complex move here, like a motive wave. Didn't mean to do that. Let's change these a bit smaller degree. So I mean, it is still early to say, but just for this scenario, for the bearish scenario, you could say something like that could still happen. Then you expect still some kind of a push up, corrective move, push up, and then eventually a push down. Something like that is possible. It is something that I have in mind, that if we do still see the highs here taken, and you do see a corrective move afterwards, and then a last push to the upside, it's going to be key to see if you see some momentum to the upside on the last attempt here, or you see another swing failure of these highs, and that would be the sign of weakness. It's a very simple pattern to trade, so yeah, that's really what I like. Just easy setups is going to be the best in my opinion. So to combine this into trading, you always want to aim for the easiest trade. So it might seem confusing, this pattern, but it really is pretty simple to trade if you know what you're looking for, of course. All right, so yeah, that's going to be it for the local one. We can take a quick look at a more bullish scenario. Let's see, let's put this into our folder here. So for the bullish scenario, I don't think I've really shared this before, at least not on the YouTube one, but we can take a quick look. Could you say like maybe you would say like, okay, Eunice, you're always looking for that bearish scenario. It's not true really, but I have to keep some for the members, of course. This is actually an account that I've been tracking for a while now, that this was some kind of a full impulse to the downside, and then we are actually in a corrective zigzag to the upside, and we could still see potentially a move to the downside eventually. And then this is all part of 1A, B, C. Where does this put this into the count, like locally here? We could be potentially into like an A, B, and a C to the upside, another zigzag. And then the main target for me that I'm still looking for is going to be around 40k, 38, 40k here. So what's going to be the validation is also pretty simple here, because this is then wave 1. We have some kind of corrective wave 2, and we are now in the making of that wave 3 to the upside. Invalidation coming back below this wave 1 here, and then I would say, okay, it's very unlikely that this is still going to push up to the 40k, and we are going to see a corrective move first before maybe push to the upside. But yeah, that's going to be the invalidation for this count. But yeah, we are prepared for a move to the upside as well. But yeah, we need to see some continuation here, and then this could be some kind of a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, some kind of subdivisions. A little bit more difficult to predict, but it is very possible if we see more upside. Yeah, it's just whether we break up or down, I'm prepared for up or down, so I don't really mind either way. So it's gonna be it for the bullish scenario. Also pretty simple, easy invalidation. If we break the invalidation, I would look more towards the bearish scenario again. And if we break above the invalidation of the high here, I would look for the bullish scenario. So let's see what Bitcoin will decide in a few days or weeks, and we'll just trade it as we have been trading it. Let's take a look at the last setup that I gave for the bullish move towards the upside when we're right here. So I also shared this on Twitter, of course. Just keep sure to follow us on Twitter. And we were looking for this last push to the upside here that I gave. I was looking for at least the highs, and then eventually made the weekly at 30k, which played out pretty nicely. Of course, we are now above that weekly still, and well, I've taken profit here, and we are now riding it up still. I'm only in longs for now, but we will see what happens if we start to lose some of our key levels. It becomes more likely that we do see a push to the downside, of course. So what I want to mention, of course, you can always check us out at protraderslounge.com if you want those high likely setups that I just showed you. Very easy to make your money back, I would say, if you get if you understand what we are looking for a little bit, you will see. But yeah, just a quick rundown of what we have here, what we give our members every week. Obviously, the best one is at the bottom. Great community of like-minded traders. If you are looking for that community, we are here, and we are happy to let you join us, of course. That's gonna be it for me for the update. Yeah, I will give you guys, I'll end here with the last chart that I will have. No financial advice, of course, and I will catch you on the next update. Cheers, guys.